Irene. Wings of Midnight. Chapter 1. The Angel of the Twi-Night. Chapter Summary. On rain-slick London rooftops, Irene pursues a feral, a creature of crimson shadow, while fighting a dangerous hunger within herself. When she discovers a frightened boy trapped beneath the monster's surface, she must decide whether to destroy it for relief or attempt a rescue. With Cape and Pedro beside her, Irene discovers an impossible clue, a small green dinosaur marked ZAR. The discovery signals that the crimson is spreading beneath the city, and that it may already be looking for something. Chapter 1. The Angel of the Twi-Night. The thing on the roof ran when Irene landed. Slate cracked under her boots. 3 buildings ahead, the feral skittered over a chimney stack on too many limbs, leaving a smear of red-black shadow wherever its fingers touched. It moved like a thought someone had tried to bury and failed. London spread below them, buses growling through wet streets, windows lit gold behind curtains, the river catching the city in broken strips. No one looked up. Good. Irene stepped onto the parapet. Wind threaded through her wings and tugged loose a pale feather. It spun once in the dark and vanished before it reached the street. The feral stopped at the far edge of the next roof. Its head turned too far around. Crimson light seeped from the hollows where its eyes should have been. "I can see you," Irene said. It hissed. The sound touched something behind her ribs. Hunger lifted its head. Irene jumped. For one sickening heartbeat, there was only air. Then her wings opened with a muffled boom of wind and drove her upward. She cleared the gap, folded hard, and dropped onto the next roof in a shower of grit. The feral bolted, she followed. They crossed the city in fragments, a gutter slick with rain, a satellite dish trembling in the wind, a skylight showing a family gathered around a television. Irene saw a child in striped pajamas climb across a sofa. The child laughed at something on the screen. The feral passed over the glass. The child did not look up. Irene's wings beat once. Twice. She gained ground. The creature made for a low apartment block with a narrow alley behind it. It hit the gutter, leapt, and nearly cleared the next gap. Nearly. Irene caught it in the air. They hit the roof together. Her shoulder struck tile. Pain flashed through her arm. The feral twisted beneath her, weightless and violent, claws raking down from her bicep toward her wrist. The marks burned white. Smoke curled from them. She pinned its neck with one hand and drove a knee between its shoulder blades. "Enough!" the creature bucked. Its mouth opened wider than a mouth had any right to open. A black tear in its face. The sound that came out was not a scream. It was the shape of one. And beneath it, buried deep, was a heartbeat. Irene froze completely. The feral's skin shivered like wet ink. For half a second, a face showed through. A boy. Maybe 17. Freckles. Dark hair flattened against his forehead, a cut at the edge of his mouth. Then crimson flooded over him again. Their fangs descended. The scent of fear filled her mouth, sharp, bright, almost sweet. One bite would settle the shaking in her hands. One mouthful and the hollow ache in her body would go quiet. Her thoughts would stop scraping against each other. The feral's eyes fluttered, brown beneath the red. "Please," it whispered. Irene's grip tightened. A soft step sounded behind her. "Don't," Cape said. She did not look back. "It's gone." "Is it? It's wearing him." Cape came close enough that the warmth of his presence disturbed the cold air at her shoulder. He never arrived loudly. He simply became difficult to imagine absent. Below, a siren passed somewhere beyond the block. The sound rose, bent, and faded. Irene swallowed. I can end it. You can, Cape reassured her. The answer made her turn her head. Cape stood at the roof's edge, long coat dark against the sky. He looked as he always did in Twi-Night, too composed for the weather, too gentle for the things they hunted. His face gave her no rescue from the choice. But don't tell yourself it's mercy if what you want is relief, he said. Her jaw clenched. The boy made a small sound beneath her hand. Not a monster, not prey. A boy. Irene drew one measured breath, then another. 4 in, hold. 6, out. The hunger snarled at her for the indignity of it. Easy, Cape said, quieter now. Don't make it sound easy. Irene gasped. I didn't, Cape retorted. She shifted her palm from the creature's throat to its chest. Under layers of shadow, something beat weakly against her hand. I'm sorry, Irene said. Light spilled from her fingers. It did not strike the feral like fire. It entered it. Gold gathered beneath the blackness, thin at first, then spreading through the creature's limbs and spine. The feral convulsed. Its claws tore grooves in the slate. Crimson smoke burst from its mouth in a soundless howl. Irene held on. The shadow peeled away. For one clear second, the boy lay beneath her hand. Freckles, split lip, eyes enormous with fear and relief. Thank you, he breathed. Then the light went out. There was no body, no blood, no ash. Only rain ticking against broken tiles. Irene stayed where she was, one hand pressed to empty roof. The hunger did not leave. It settled lower, colder, making a home of her stomach. Cape crouched beside her but did not touch her. Are you hurt? She looked at the smoking lines on her arm. Already they were fading. No? Cape's gaze moved to her face. That wasn't what I asked. Before she could answer, a weight landed on the roof behind them. Pedro. He stood motionless near the chimney stack, broad enough to turn the roof small. Pale scars crossed his neck like old fault lines. Tonight, faint light leaked through them. He did not ask what had happened. He looked once at the empty space beneath Irene's hand, then toward the east. His jaw tightened. Cape followed his gaze. The crimson is spreading, Irene said. It was already spread, Cape replied. Tonight it was looking. For what? Irene asked. Neither of them answered immediately. A gust blew across the roof. Something tapped against the gutter. Irene turned. A small plastic dinosaur lay on its side near the drain pipe. Cheap green molded plastic. One hind leg bent outward. Its painted eye had been rubbed almost white. It did not belong on a rooftop. She picked it up. The belly was scratched with letters, jagged enough to look made by a key. Z-A-R. Cape watched her face. Do you know it? No. The dinosaur was cold in her palm. Beneath the city, far below the pavement and the buses and the lit windows, something gave a slow, heavy pulse. Pedro moved toward the edge of the roof. Cape looked east again. We should go. Irene closed her fingers around the toy. For a moment, the wind sounded like a child trying not to cry. Then she stepped into the dark, and her wings caught her before she fell. Irene.